please join me in giving a warm round of applause to the Phoenix Boys Choir. My name is Jason Miko. I am the Honorary Consul of the Republic of Macedonia. I am from the Old Pueblo. Some of you know it as Tucson, and I bring you greetings from the provinces. Ladies and gentlemen, please join with me in welcoming the Honorable Michael Chan.
Honorable elected officials, esteemed colleagues, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good evening, and welcome to the Consular Corps of Arizona Ambassadors Gala. We're delighted that you have been able to join us this evening in this exquisite setting to enjoy each other's company and to honor our friend, fellow diplomat, public servant, and fellow Arizonan, Ambassador and former Governor Raul Héctor Castro. Honorables funcionarios electos, estimados colegas, distinguidos invitados, damas y caballeros, buenas noches y bienvenido a la cena de la Gala de Embajadores del Cuerpo Consular de Arizona. Nos place que les haya sido posible acompañarnos esta noche bajo de este exquisito recinto para disfrutar mutuamente de nuestra compañía para honrar a nuestro amigo, miembro diplomático, servidor público y miembro arizonense, embajador y exgobernador Raúl Héctor Castro. This evening, we'll be honoring Ambassador Castro with the first ever Global Diplomat Award from the Consular Corps of Arizona, recognizing his long and distinguished service to our state and country. We'll also be entertained by the Phoenix Boys Choir and members of the Four Seasons Orchestra. We hope you will enjoy this evening of friendship, fellowship, and fun. I have some very short remarks. I'd like to begin this evening by highlighting the work of the Consular Corps of Arizona, a unique and we believe beneficial organization in the state of Arizona. The United States of America has often been referred to as a melting pot, a phrase dating back centuries and called such because of the great numbers of foreign-born who have come to seek fortune, fame, or as in more often the case, simple freedom. Because of the great multitudes that have made America home from our beginning to this day, the fabric of America is interwoven with the identities, faith, and cultures of a planet. In tandem with the great tide of immigration, America's relationships with that planet and her inhabitants has created diplomatic relationships and postings from Benjamin Franklin, first American minister to France, to today's Department of State in Washington, D.C., which accredits foreign ambassadors and their diplomats in America. Into this milieu has arisen the need for consulates around the country, both career and honorary, the consulates representing and assisting their ambassadors in a variety of duties. These consulates, including those in Arizona, represent constituents and nationals that live in or visit our state, and over the years, they have numbered in the millions. The Consular Corps of Arizona was established in 1961 to create a space for both career and honorary consuls to exchange ideas and information, perform official duties for their respective countries, and educate and inform the Arizona public about their countries and their work. The Consular Corps of Arizona is a nonprofit corporation comprised of consular officers, honorary and career, appointed by foreign governments based on their need for representation in the state of Arizona, and appointments are finalized with the approval of the U.S. Department of State in Washington, D.C. Honorary consuls maintain other careers and perform consular functions on a part-time basis, and their role is similar to that of a career officer. Some important duties may include processing passport applications, providing visas, temporary travel documents, certifying official documents, visiting nationals in detention facilities, promoting and developing tourism, trade, economic, scientific, cultural, and educational exchanges and advancements. Many of our honorary consuls perform these functions without remuneration from their governments. Consular Corps members have an extensive network of resources and are available to assist with any inquiries as they pertain to their respective countries. Our vision is to become the state's leading international organization for its service to and engagement in the community in conjunction with the goals of the nations represented by its members. Our mission is to provide a forum for the accredited consuls in Arizona by supporting fellow consuls and consulates in their respective diplomatic outreach by building relationships with governments and community and fostering business, educational, and cultural endeavors. At present, we have 35 countries represented in the state of Arizona. I would like to take a few minutes to introduce you to the 25 nations amongst us this evening. I respectfully request that you please hold your applause until the end. The Republic of Austria, Honorary Consul Wolfgang Klein. The Kingdom of Belgium, Honorary Consul Reginald Winsinger. The Federative Republic of Brazil, Honorary Consul General Caio Pagano. The Republic of Chile, Honorary Consul Ken Patricio Smith. The Republic of El Salvador, Honorary Consul Enrique Melendez. The Republic of Finland, Honorary Consul Gary Weissy. The French Republic, Honorary Consul Gerrit Steenblick. The Federal Republic of Germany, Honorary Consul Elge Jordan. The Republic of Honduras, Honorary Consul Tony Banegas. The Italian Republic, Honorary Consul Massimo Paolillo. Japan, Honorary Consul General Kelly Moore. The Republic of Lithuania, Honorary Consul Paul Sigas. The Grand Duchy of Luxembourg, Honorary Consul Fernand Astert Kuykendall. The Republic of Macedonia, Honorary Consul Jason Miko. The United Mexican States, Ambassador Roberto Rodriguez. The Netherlands, Honorary Consul Sibe van der Zee. The Kingdom of Norway, Honorary Consul George Olander. The Republic of Peru, Honorary Consul Raul Osorio. The Republic of Poland, Honorary Consul Bogomil Orchim. The Ukraine, Honorary Consul Taras Varvariv. The Republic of the Seychelles, Honorary Consul Beth Willis. The Republic of Korea, Honorary Consul Bob Walkup. The Kingdom of Spain, Honorary Consul Alfredo Molina, Chairman of Molina Found Jewelers, and also co-sponsor of this event. The Swiss Confederation, the Honorable Alisa Jost. I would also like to recognize some of our special guests this evening with us. The first two are also members of the Consular Corps of Arizona Advisory Board. They are the Honorable Ken Bennett, Arizona Secretary of State, and the Honorable Steve Chukri, Maricopa County Board of Supervisors. We also have the Honorable Liz Archuleta from Coconino County Board of Supervisors, the Honorable Jim Lane, Mayor of the City of Scottsdale, the Honorable Linda Kavanaugh, Mayor of the City of Fountain Hills, the Honorable Thelda Williams, Councilwoman, City of Phoenix, the Honorable Michael Nowakowski, Councilman, City of Phoenix, the Honorable John Kavanaugh, Arizona State Representative, Dr. Larry Penley, President of Thunderbird School of Global Management, Dr. Anna Soleil, President of Phoenix College, Ms. Michelle Davidson from Congresswoman Kirsten Sinema's office, Ms. Gabriela Gonzalez Araiza from Senator Jeff Flake's office, Ambassador Thomas Loftus, former U.S. Ambassador to Norway. And now, please enjoy the musical selections performed by the Phoenix Boys Choir, followed by the Four Seasons Orchestra during dinner service, and we'll be back afterwards with the remainder of our program. Once again, welcome to you, and thank you for joining us this evening. We're here to present the Honorable Raul Hector Castro with the Global Diplomat Award. The Global Diplomat Award recognizes the individual who has spent a lifetime contributing to the nation and to the world in a positive, meaningful, and impactful manner. This award honors the individual who has selflessly given of their own time and resources in creating understanding and bridges between peoples and cultures while representing the best qualities in our own country. The Global Diplomat Award is a symbol of thanks to the individual who has inspired and encouraged others to seek public and foreign service. It is therefore a great honor for the members of the Consular Corps of Arizona this evening to recognize our friend, fellow diplomat, public servant, and fellow Arizonan, Ambassador and former Governor Raul Hector Castro with the Global Diplomat Award. At this time, I would like to introduce Enrique Melendez, our Executive Director. He'll make a couple of remarks.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to take things out of order. I received a letter from Senator Jeff Flake today, and I'm going to read that letter to you. It says, "Dear Ambassador Castro, it is an honor to join you today with other well-wishers in congratulating you on your achievements. As a former governor of Arizona and ambassador to El Salvador, Bolivia, and Argentina, you have been an honorable public servant, both locally and globally. Your perseverance through life's challenges is inspiring to all of us, and you're a positive role model for young people in our community. The Global Diplomat Award is a fitting way to recognize your life's work. Thank you for your many contributions. Best wishes for continued good health and happiness. Sincerely, Jeff Flake, United States Senator." Again, a little bit out of order. The gentleman standing behind me is a consul of Spain. Consul Alfredo Molina's philanthropic involvement in the community is so widespread, it would be very hard to mention the numerous organizations. This wonderful and generous man supports over 300 charities and nonprofit organizations in our community and has for many years. Today, he gave us a courtesy of sending a driver to pick up Ambassador Castro and his wife, Pat, in Nogales. Thank you, Consul Molina. Ambassador Castro exemplifies the very best in public and foreign service. Deputy Pima County Attorney, Pima County Superior Court Judge, U.S. Ambassador to El Salvador, and his wife told me that was her favorite post. Thank you, Pat. U.S. Ambassador to Bolivia, Governor of the state of Arizona, and U.S. Ambassador to Argentina. He was a welterweight boxer, and as a young man, this gave him the fortitude later in life to stand up to individuals, organizations, and groups who had no respect for the disadvantaged. Ambassador Castro is a living institution, a role model for all Americans, and a man who shattered cultural barriers. He is a man who deserves all of the recognition he receives, and the Consular Corps of Arizona are hoping to help his legacy live on as a diplomat and a public servant by creating a scholarship in his name. Ambassador Castro exemplifies the very best in public and foreign service, and we're going to honor him tonight with this award. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we honor a man who has quietly and humbly served our state and his country, working diligently for the best interests of both. Tonight we honor a man who has invested himself in the lives of others selfishly, giving of himself, his time, and simply putting his resources to work. Tonight we honor a man who is an Arizona legend. Your Excellencies, honorable elected officials, members of the Corps, and their guests, please join me in honoring and saying thank you to Ambassador Raul Castro.
Ladies and gentlemen, members of the Consular Corps of Arizona, I appear before you today at the age of 97. My wife will be 90 in January, and I don't think we have long to go in this world. But on the other hand, I want the audience to know that I am very much bilingual and internationalist. I was born in Mexico in 1916. My parents were Mexicans born also in Baja California. We lived in Granada mining town for several years. My father was active in the miners' union. He declared a strike, and the Mexican government declared the strike to be a wildcat strike, an illegal strike. My father was arrested, placed in prison in Hermosillo, and left mother with 10 children, 9 boys and 1 girl. Eventually, there was negotiations done, and the Mexican government agreed that if the United States of America accepted my father, we could leave. He would leave prison and come into the United States. We came in through the port of Naco, Arizona. I recall vividly as a young chap that the immigration inspector said, "Castro family, you are now in the United States of America. It is up to you," meaning don't expect charity, don't expect welfare. It is up to you to take care of yourselves. We won't have it otherwise. We ended up in a little town called Porterville, Arizona, 3 or 4 miles northwest of Douglas, Arizona. Douglas is on the border with Agua Prieta, Sonora. We and I, in those days, as a young man, always had the inspiration of why there was a difference in nationalities and people. Why can't they be able to get along? And living on the border in Douglas and Agua Prieta, it made me recognize that there was misunderstanding somewhere, that somewhere down the line there should be a comprehension between countries, between nationalities, between religions. That was my childhood phobia. It kept it all my life. In the process of growing up in the border area of Douglas, I finally ended up going to school in Flagstaff at Arizona State Teachers College, where I graduated as a teacher. I was captain of the boxing team, captain of the track team, and the quarterback on the football team. And I belonged to everything on campus. I got a little cocky, a little carried away. I assumed, confident, that when I graduated from college, every school system in Arizona would want me to be a teacher in their system. Was I wrong? I applied for several jobs. I could not get a teaching job in Arizona because they told me we don't hire Mexican Americans to be school teachers. So I proceeded to be a boxer all over the country in the United States. And strangely enough, in the East Coast in Pennsylvania, I remember being in the ring and doing what boxers do, performing. And when I got through, before I got through, the audience in one voice, "Kill that Dago, kill that Wop." They assumed I was Italian descent because in those days, there were no Mexicans on the East Coast, a lot of Italians. So I assumed I was Italian, and they wanted to kill me as a Wop. Naturally, I felt it affected my mentality because I felt sorry for myself. The next boxer was a Czechoslovakian. And from all sources, he got in there in the ring and did the boxers do the same thing in one voice. "Kill that bohunk, kill that bohunk." That made me feel better. Because I wasn't the only one that's being picked on. Somebody else was picked on. I said, "Castro, get your chip off your shoulder and get to work and do the job. Quit worrying about what's happening." But you know, I have always had the feeling we want comprehension, understanding between peoples of the world. I was in Minnesota, Bemidji, Minnesota. I went through a street and saw a sign on an apartment building. We do not rent to Finns. Well, a Finn is blonde, blue-eyed, as a rule. But the Swedish and Norwegians were having a feud with the Finns, and they were being picked on. So I said, Raul, get off of this thing and get down to business and quit worrying about what's happening in that sense. So I returned to Arizona, to Douglas, Arizona, where I grew up. And the State Department, the United States Foreign Service, had opened up an American consulate in Agua Prieta, Sonora, Mexico. Douglas on the American side, Agua Prieta on the Mexican side. I applied for a job at the consulate because the consul and the vice consul who had been assigned to the consulate in Agua Prieta were not proficient in the Spanish language. So I got the job because I knew the area well. After 5 years working in a consulate, immigration work and what have you, everything that's done in a consulate, time came for William Blocker, Consul General in Juarez, out of El Paso on the Mexican side, to have a consular inspection. So he went to Douglas for a consular inspection. I was assigned to work with him because I knew the bankers and the merchants and the people and help him out on the inspection. At the end of the tour of inspection, Consul General Blocker told me, he says, Raul, I want to talk to you. So we went to the office, the consulate in Agua Prieta, and he said, Raul, I have been watching your work for 5 years. I used to write reports, etc., and copies of what was meant to the consulate. And I'm impressed. I think you do a good job. Do a very good job. But I'm recommending you quit this job. I said, what? First, you tell me that you're impressed with my work. And secondly, I'm being fired. It doesn't make sense to me. So I'll tell you why. He says, number one, you were born in Mexico of Mexican parents. In those days in the Foreign Service, that was, for me to get ahead in the Foreign Service, diplomatic service, having been foreign born was not too likely. And then secondly, he said, you're a graduate of Arizona State Teachers College in Flagstaff. That is not Princeton, it's not Harvard, it's not Yale, and therefore the possibility of promotions are not too likely to occur. I don't think at this moment diplomatic service is anxious to hire some well-eyed cowboy from Arizona or California. Well, it broke my heart. 2 or 3 days went by, so I went home and said, Mother, my father already died. He died when I was age of 10. I'm leaving you. I said, why, son? I told her the story. He says, son, what are you going to do? I says, Mother, I want to be a lawyer. Because in the consulate, I used to go to jail, get Americans out of jail, and defend all of the American interests. And I want to be an attorney. He said, son, but you don't have any money. How can you go to law school? Mother, I'll find a way. So off I went to Tucson and dribbled back and forth, etc. Finally got a teaching job at the University of Arizona, teaching Spanish, and also at the same time going to law school full-time. It's full-time both ways, teaching and going to law school. When I graduated from law school, I became a deputy county attorney in Tucson. And it's about that time that I met a young lady from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Her name is Pat. And the lady from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, her mother had asthma and was told in Milwaukee to go to Arizona that her asthma would improve. So she went to Tucson. Pat came over to see her mother, liked Tucson, applied for a job at the marshal's office, and got a job as a deputy U.S. Marshal. Stayed in Tucson. So we became acquainted. Eventually, I became a county attorney, got elected county attorney, and my wife and I got married, and she assumed she was marrying a mariachi. Because being from Milwaukee, the Canadian border, knew very little about the Mexican culture. So all she knew was what she saw on TV or otherwise, or that the Latins were mariachis, Mexican mariachi. I'm tone deaf, totally tone deaf. She is suspecting me to go under her window with a guitar, serenade her as a mariachi. I failed there in that course. But that's what brought me into this world, to be an internationalist, interested in people get along with different parts of the world. My mother told me one day, Judge of Superior Court, son, whatever you do, don't marry an American girl. Why do you say that, Mother? Because American girls, women, don't take care of their children. They go down the street with cigarettes in their hands, go into bars and saloons. I said, Mother, that's true. That's an exaggeration. Well, we had a courtship of 5 years, my wife and I, my girlfriend then. After 5 years, I said, Dick, we've had enough. You haven't met my family. I want you to meet my family, and let's get organized. I want you, and in the meantime, process, a deputy U.S. Marshal, she was offered a job as the first woman detective in the sheriff's office. So she became a policewoman. I said, borrow a police car from the sheriff's office. We're going to go to Douglas, and I want you to meet my family, meet my mother, especially. And when we get home in the police car, turn on the siren, the red light, Mother will come out, and the neighbors will say, the Castros are at it again. Well, we did exactly that's what happened. And Mother had real green eyes. And we got home. Sure enough, here comes Mother. And I said, Mother, le presento a mi novia. I introduced you to my girlfriend. And pardon the bad word in between, but that's what she said. Muchacho cabrón, saliste con la tuya. And I said, Mother, that's not right. But you know, that day, she put me in the front room and put Pat, my wife, to be in the back room, to be no touching. And I had a brother in Flagstaff, and I found some excuse to say, leave Douglas late in the afternoon, to get to Tucson late and say, Mother, I don't drive at night. We drive in the morning. I have Ernesto, your son, living in Flagstaff. Why don't you go with us and see Ernesto? Fine, absolutely. I didn't tell her Pat was going with us. Pat was home with her mother in Tucson. I said, Mother, it's late. I don't drive. I'm going to go to my apartment. You stay with her and her mother. Her mother was in. The next day, I came to pick it up. I expected some black eyes, but no, the opposite. Pat and my mother became the best of friends. She was always right, and I was always wrong. So it convinced me about the saying in Spanish, hablando se entiende la gente. Where there's dialogue, there's understanding. And there was dialogue and understanding between my wife-to-be, and my mother. I can tell you today that my wife was a tremendous wife. In the governor's office, had tremendous help, and as an ambassador, likewise, in protocol, dinners, and otherwise, outstanding, completely. That's my wife, Patricia, from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Pat, will you stand up, please? Are you somewhere? Yes, you are. And then today I also have with me my grandson and granddaughter, Don Daly and Ashley Daly from San Diego area. Don is a prominent businessman in the San Diego area, doing very well for his man. He's also a graduate at Vernon State University at Tempe. But you know, as the world goes on, I have lived on the border most of my life. And while living on the border as a young man, young inquisitive young person, I would say neighbors should get along. Neighbors should be friendly to each other. Now and then in Agua Prieta and Douglas area, there'll be squabbles between the American government and the U.S. government, immigration, customs, or otherwise. And I would say to myself, there's no need for this. Hablando se entiende la gente. If we have a dialogue and understanding, talk to each other, matters can be resolved. And that's been my philosophy of life all the way through. And I fell in love with diplomatic service, foreign service of the United States in that sense. But where do I get from there? Well, I told you that when this had a consular inspection, a Bev Blocker from Juarez inspected the consulate in Juarez and Agua Prieta. He's the one that told me about my degree was not from Harvard or Yale or Princeton, not too likely to happen, etc., and of Mexican heritage. I thought that's a pretty excuse to answer. So I did. I went to Tucson, Arizona, deputy county attorney, and then ran for office, something that most Latinos hated and never did, a fear of running for public office. I ran for county attorney in Pima County in Tucson and was elected county attorney in Tucson. And after I left law school, I became judge of Superior Court, and that's almost 50 years ago. President Kennedy was assassinated. Lyndon Johnson from Texas became President of the United States. And he was covering the country and visited Tucson. And while in Tucson, he came to my office as judge of Superior Court. We chatted, etc. He went back to Washington. But a week later, he called Carl Hayden, Arizona State Senator in Washington, and told Senator Hayden, I met Raul Castro, Judge Castro in Tucson, and I wonder if you will ask him, if he will accept the job of United States Attorney for the state of Arizona. I told Senator Hayden, I'm grateful, I appreciate it. But on the other hand, I have been a prosecutor in Pima County for many years now. And I prefer not to. I'd rather find some other endeavor. A week went by, another call came in from President Johnson to Carl Hayden. Will you ask Judge Castro if he will accept I told him I wouldn't accept the candidate's office. And then he said, ask him what he wants from the United States government. I said, Senator Hayden, I worked in Agua Prieta at the consulate service, did everything that a consulate is supposed to do, get Americans out of jail, you name it, treaty promotion, and I love it. I like the Foreign Service in that sense of the word. I'd like to be an American ambassador. This is Senator Hayden to President Johnson. President Johnson replied, this is fine, except we do have a dilemma. I am running for President of the United States, will eventually run for President of the United States. We have a couple in Cuba by the name of Castro, and one of them is Raul Castro. If I appoint him, the ambassador of the United States. People will think I'm appointing someone who is not friendly to this country. Well, I said, sorry. Then he also replied, maybe he can be ambassador under the mother's name, Acosta. My mother was Rosario Acosta. I said, no way, Jose. I love my name. I'm not about to change it. Week went by again, silence. As the week went by then, President Johnson appointed me ambassador to El Salvador, Central American country. And when I got to El Salvador, of course, I was concerned on relations. We had relations with Central America quite strong, some good and some bad. My tenure in El Salvador and Central America was outstanding in the sense they were friendly and good. I had two daughters, Mary Pat and Beth, and one was in high school, Catalina High School in Tucson, and the other one was in a girls' school in Tucson. That meant if I accepted a job as an ambassador to El Salvador, I had to pull them out of school, high school, and place them in high school in Central America, El Salvador. In our home in Tucson at that time, not one word of Spanish was ever spoken. My wife, being from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, knew less about Spanish than my turkeys. And the girls, of course, the two daughters, less. That meant that they had to go to a foreign country, two daughters, go to school without knowledge of the culture or the language. They enrolled in high school in San Salvador, American high school, and they would come home crying, I want to go home, I want to go home. I says, why? El Salvador, being the capital of a country, had ambassadors from all over the world. Some are from Africa, some from Egypt, some are from Arabia, down the line, China. And of course, they dressed differently, had a different language, a different religion. And the girls had difficulty understanding that situation. They assumed that if it wasn't the American way, it was no good. And unfortunately, too much of that mentality prevailed. I said, why don't you invite those people to come to the house? We had a swimming pool, a beautiful home in San Benito in San Salvador. And they did exactly that. They became best of friends with people from all over the world, ambassadors' children. So you see, this is the sense of being an internationalist. I've always had the feeling, why should people quibble? Why can't they sit there and discuss matters and try to resolve them the diplomatic way? A meeting was held in San Salvador of Central American countries, Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama. San Salvador was the capital. That's where they had to meet. President Lyndon Johnson and his wife and daughter Lucy came to San Salvador for the conference. They stayed a week in our home in San Salvador. And one day we were in a presidential limousine, and President Johnson looked at me and said, Mr. Ambassador, you've been here long enough, too long. Time has come to move. I said, yes, Mr. President. He said, we are having a lot of difficulties in Bolivia. Che Guevara is there in Bolivia. There are demonstrations, manifestations, shootings and killings, etc. And I need someone in Bolivia who speaks the Spanish language fluently and someone who will be able to understand and work with the people in that particular country. So off I went, first to Washington, to Congress, to be approved by Congress. And I was approved by Congress to go to Bolivia. Before I arrived in Bolivia, Che Guevara was killed. And the rumor was that it wasn't Che Guevara that was killed, it was an imposter, somebody else. By that time I was in Bolivia. I said, no, it's not true. I have enough proof in my safe in the embassy in Bolivia to prove and show that it's Che Guevara that was killed. So eventually I returned to Arizona. Keep in mind that I had a very happy life, my family in Salvador, because things went well for us in Salvador. When I arrived at the airport in Tucson, a fellow named John Malloy, a judge of Superior Court, and a fellow secretary of the YMCA met me at the airport and said, Raul, we want you to run for governor. I said, look, I've been living in Latin America now for several years. People in Arizona have forgotten me. They don't know I'm alive. Oh, no, so you're wrong. We want you to run for governor. I did run for governor and lost by 2,000 or 3,000 votes. 4 years later, I ran again and was elected governor of the state of Arizona. I enjoy my tour duty as governor of Arizona, the sense of the word. But in the meantime, in the process, Jimmy Carter was elected president of the United States. Jimmy Carter kept coming to Phoenix and to the Capitol, and he said, look, I'd like to have you be my ambassador to Argentina. I want you to consider it. We need you badly. We had some problems that I think you can resolve. And you've lived in Latin America before. So at the end of 2 years as governor of Arizona, I resigned. And then in my resignation, I went to Argentina and survived.
Your wife is uncomfortable. She needs to leave.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, I'll accompany you.
So in the process, we agreed that that's going to be it. So I went to Argentina, and then finally, eventually came home in 1980. And I've been here since. Living in Phoenix for that length of time, my wife said, traffic is getting heavy, hard, etc. Let's move. So she started on a search and a hunt for a home, and found a home in Nogales 20 years ago, and we've been there since then. Our home in Nogales is exactly 50 yards from Mexico, from the fence. Thank you.
Just one second.
Your Excellency, I just want you to know that if you have this kind of level of energy at 97, I can only imagine the type of energy you had in your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, your 60s, your 70s, and your 80s. I just want you to know that my mother was Cuban, and she told me that American women do not feed their kids enough because they're not fat enough. So I understand your pain, and I never did anything right as far as Mom was concerned, so I share your pain as well. I just want to say that, Your Excellency, you exhibit what this country was built on. This great country that we all are proud to be part of was built on the philosophy that a man lived and believed in God, believed in his country, and believed in himself. And you, sir, are the epitome of that man. We were so excited to give you the 2013 Global Diplomat Award that we made 2 awards. So you have one here that is beautifully made with glass, and you have one here that's beautifully made with silver. And it's only becoming that a man of your caliber get 2 awards because you've worn many hats in your life. And it's truly an honor and truly a pleasure to just listen to you speak, because I know that you had great adversity. I know that you have overcome great adversity in your life, discrimination, and all I can say is, thank God that didn't let you be a teacher.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be entertained now with some musical pieces from the Honorable Caio Pagano, Honorary Consul General of Brazil.